Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Undersecretary. Good to see you. I want to thank you. All right, you've had I think we've had a good discussion back and forth on coming to my office, meeting with other senators, emailing, texting. I appreciate that input from you guys. You guys get input from us. I think it helps both sides. So I want to thank you for that. I think it's important, and I just encourage you to keep it up. So I appreciate that very much. Look, just to answer Senator Kaine a little bit, my view, Iran has been at war with us for like almost 50 years. They've killed and wounded thousands of service members, starting with the Beirut bombing, the Khobar towers, the IEDs that were very sophisticated that General Soleimani, the Quds Force commander, they built those, they provided them to Iraqi Shia militias, killed over 600 American service members, wounded over 2,000. And I was in a top secret hearing with General Dunford, and I asked him a question. Have we lost deterrence against Iran? They're killing our guys everywhere. They're not afraid. And he said, we've lost deterrence. They feel they can kill Americans at will with no consequence. So to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, wake up. This country's been at war with us for almost a half century, and they've killed thousands and wounded thousands of our best and brightest. By the way, I was in another classified hearing last October of 2024. All the top intel officials, this FBI director, 100 U.S. senators about election interference 1 month before the 2024 elections. And I directly asked the FBI director, are the Iranians still trying to kill President Trump? Okay, a month before the election. The FBI director asked him, you want to talk about election interference? That's what this was about. Trying to kill the lead candidate? He looked at me, Senator, yes, Iran's leadership is still trying to kill the President of the United States. Okay, so again, they've been at war with us, and I think what is happening now is reestablishing deterrence and the allies that we have in the Middle East. And by the way, it's been a bipartisan goal of every president to make sure the Iranians don't get nukes and don't get ballistic missiles. And that's what the president and our brave troops are undertaking right now. Do you have a comment on that?
Well, thanks, Senator. I agree with everything you said. I mean, in terms of the threat that they've posed. In fact, I know you're a Marine. My uncle, who was here with me a year ago for my nomination, was a Marine actually in Beirut for the barracks and was almost killed. He was missing for a few days. So I think that's less than a lot of people have suffered.
Over 230 Marines. I think 16 soldiers is
so
killed them all.
Fully agreed. And I think we've obviously brought in the lessons. And as the president said, he's not going to have the yips, as I think he put it yesterday. We're still going to learn the lessons of the last 25 years and not make the same mistakes. But I think that's, in Operation Absolute Resolve, we've seen the results that have been favorable. And we're in the early, it's something I just really stress without consuming your time, sir, but it's just we are at the earliest stages of this campaign.
Yeah.
So I just say
no, it's dangerous. There's no doubt about it. Let me ask, there's been some articles about munitions and how we're running short of munitions. I don't know if that's true. I'm just reading the press. How are we doing on our defense industrial base? And do you want to send a message to any other countries around the world who might be reading, hey, America's low on munitions. Maybe it's our time to move on Taiwan or something like that. Do you want to send a message here in a public hearing like, don't think about it. We're not low on munitions. Where are we on that? Where are we on the industrial base? And do you want to send a clear message to anyone else who might be trying to undertake some mischief?
I think our president has got the will and resolve to use the American military. He's not afraid of it. I would say, he spoke on the issue of yesterday of munitions, and I'll get back to that in a second. But I would say I know for a fact that our potential opponents are looking at the prowess of the joint force under President Trump and Secretary Hegseth's leadership, and they are intimidated, and they're right to be intimidated. We have a president with the resolve, and the Department of War is giving him the ability to do so with this strategy, but especially a $1.5 trillion budget. I know you've been a leader on that, sir. An overhaul national mobilization of our defense industrial base and allies who are actually stepping up.
And are we making progress on the industrial-based munitions?
I think we are.
And should our potential adversaries around the world not read these articles about we're running low on munitions and think it's time to
absolutely
maybe move on Taiwan?
I think we need to work hard on, sorry, excuse me to interrupt, but I think we need to work hard on the defense industrial base, but nobody should get the wrong impression. We're ahead of the problem.
Good. I'm going to submit records or questions for the record, because I don't want to go over my time, Mr. Chairman, but I appreciate your visit to Alaska. We have ISEX going on up there with senior Navy officials this coming week. We had the top, the Chief of Staff of the Army up there. I visited with him and his leadership. So a lot of military up in the most strategic place in the world, and I look forward to submitting records
Thank you,
on the Arctic.
Senator
Thank you.
Sullivan.